Good morning, grade 9. Namaste and welcome to you all in the class. Dear students, in our previous class, we started a topic, sentence, and we could not complete it. And today, we are going to complete the lesson. So we are, in today's class 2, we are going to talk about sentence, the rest of the parts, okay? It is the continuous of the previous class. Okay, let's start. Today we are going to start with interrogative sentences because in previous class we got some concept about sentence and we already completed the assertive sentences too. The structures of assertive sentence we already did, the use also. And in today's class we are going to read about the imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, uh, imperative sentences, exclamatory sentence, as well as the optative sentence, right? And let's start with the interrogative sentence. Please look at the board. You can see the definition of interrogative sentence. How is it defined? An interrogative sentence asks a direct question and is punctuated at the end with a question mark. Okay, it says that the meaning of interrogative sentence is question. It asks queries about something else, asks for some information, and the punctuation mark, the question mark, is used in interrogative sentence. It says so, yeah. And remember that, dear students, it is one of the basic type of sentences. Interrogative sentence is one of the basic type of sentences, and it's highly useful and in our day-to-day life. Interrogative sentences allow us to gather informations and clear up the confusions as well as engage in the interesting conversation, right? And it is also useful in writing. Let me repeat it for you. Interrogative sentences are useful for writing too because they work as a writing tool. Okay, while writing, you can set up the question as a header, and you can set up the question as a header and answer them to explain the concept in more detail. Now, therefore, not only for the conversational tool, not only for clearing up the concept, it is useful for the students from the examination point of view as well. While writing paragraphs, you can use interrogative sentence. Why, where, how, what happens? These sorts of clues help you to answer, and that form is the tool to organize the paragraph. Yeah. So let's move forward. The types of interrogative sentences, I think you can see them. Dear students, there are two types of interrogative sentences. Okay, there are two types of interrogative sentences. One is open-ended, and the next is closed-ended. I think these are the new terms for you, so I should make them clear too. In the coming part, we will discuss about them too. So just remember, there are two types of interrogative sentences. One open-ended, and the next is closed-ended, right? So let's move forward. Open-ended interrogative sentence. Open-ended interrogative sentences. Okay, an open-ended interrogative sentence usually begins with WH word. Remember, in another word, we call them the WH questions, right? Open-ended interrogatives are also called WH questions. Where do you live? That requires for certain information. Which class 2 you read in? That requires for certain information, isn't that? And who is your English teacher? that requires certain information, right? So these are open-ended. There, the answerer had not only many choices to give the answers. So there is no barrier. Any of the information can be the answer. So remember WH questions. In our day-to-day language, we say WH questions. They are technically, linguistically termed as the open-ended question. And this slide also talks about the open-ended questions. Okay, so please. Okay, I think you all can see the slide very clearly. Uh, let's see the slide, what is written over there. Compare the following sentences. There you can see two sentences. Okay, they are, when is the deadline? That is the first sentence, that is an interrogative sentence, and the second sentence is the deadline to apply for the post is 7th July. This is an example of assertive sentence. Now let's compare these two sentences. Let's compare the structure, right, how they are formed. Okay, the structure of these two sentences. In the first sentence, deadline is the subject. The deadline is the subject, and that is at the end of the sentence, right? And similarly, in the second sentence too, the deadline is subject, and that is in the beginning of the sentence. The word is same, and they are placed in two different places. Okay, so why is it so? That is the difference. That is the difference between these two sentences. Okay, in the first sentence, when is the deadline? That is an interrogative sentence. Look at the structure. If you look at the structure, the same thing is described in the bullet 2. Okay, the same thing that I'm going to explain you now is described in the bullet 2. If you look at the bullets, you will be more clear. Okay, so the first interrogative sentence that has begun with WH word, the question word, okay, when, and that is followed by each, the verb, then after the deadline subject. So let's notice the structure of this sentence: WH word and verb, then after subject. And the second sentence, the deadline is subject, and then after verb and predicate, the rest of the part. So generally, structurally, what is the difference between an assertive sentence and an interrogative sentence? In interrogative sentence, mostly we are talking about open-ended interrogative sentence, and in open-ended interrogative sentence, it follows the structure: WH word first, the question word first, then after the verb, and that is followed by subject. And the same thing is described here by the bullet. What it says, let me read for your convenience. So start your open-ended interrogative sentence with a question word, then continue the sentence with the verb and the subject. Okay, and for more explanation, look at the example put at the end of the word that are, let me read them. Now, when is your birthday? Here in this sentence, when is the question word, is the verb, birthday day is subject. And in the rest of the sentence, the red mark that are the subject of the sentences, and they have begun with WH words. The second one that begins with where, the third one begins with why, and the last one begins with how. So this is what we come to know about the open-ended interrogative sentences, right? Okay, I think you are now clear about the structure of the open-ended interrogative sentence. That means WH question. And let's go forward. There is something more. See, the next, look at the slides. In some cases, the question word itself serves as the subject of the sentence because the subject is unknown. In fact, answering the question will provide the subject. What do I mean to say is that while forming information question, sometimes the question word serves as the subject of the sentence. In such a case, the answer of the question will serve as the subject, right? Right? And look at the next part, that is rather different than the first and second. Okay. Oftentimes, interrogative sentences require the helping verb. In these cases, the subject comes between the helping verb and the main verb. Let me revise it. Firstly, look at the structure of these sentences given in point 2. Why did Srini leave so late? And who did you give the last cookie to? Why was she so grumpy yesterday? Where did I leave my car keys? Look at these sentences. Look at the structure of these sentences. That is different. So, in the first, there is the question word. Why, who, where, yeah. These questions words are followed by helping verb, auxiliary verbs. Okay. So, what are the auxiliary verbs used here? Why did? Did is auxiliary verb. Then after, why was? Was is auxiliary verb. Yeah. And where did? Did is auxiliary verb, helping verb. Okay. In the third question, why was she so grumpy? Was here is both link verb too, but commonly you take it, consider it as an auxiliary verb. So what is the difference between the questions that we did in the first and this last? The difference is that sometimes the question words are followed by the auxiliary verb, then after the subject comes. So Ginny, you and she and I, these are the subjects of the sentences. So now we are very much clear up with the structure of interrogative sentences. Okay. Now let's move forward. Now we are entering to the new topic, that is closed-ended interrogative sentences. Okay, closed-ended interrogative sentences. So in our day-to-day life, the yes/no questions. Okay, the yes/no questions are called the closed-ended interrogative sentences. Okay, the alternative interrogatives. There are other types of interrogatives. Closed-ended, it means that closed-ended interrogative sentences are of two types, that are yes/no questions and alternative questions, alternative interrogatives. Okay, let us discuss about them too. So now dear students, you all are very much familiar with these types of questions. Okay, generally closed-ended, this means the yes/no questions, they begin with the auxiliary verb, they are followed by the subject and then the main verb. Okay, that is the structure. While reading tense 2, your teachers have taught you about the structure of yes/no questions, right? For example, subject plus B1, B5 plus object, that is the assertive structure of present simple tense, isn't that? Similarly, Do does plus subject and plus verb 1 plus object. How you read this is the structure of present simple interrogative structure. So did is the auxiliary verb, right? Same to that, here are the examples. Are, did, was, did. These in the first, uh, they are the example of yes no question. Why are they called the close-ended interrogatives? Let me make it clear that if you ask a question, where do you live? Okay, if you ask a question, where do you live? I have to answer, I live somewhere. The place is the answer. And if you ask me, are you a doctor? I have only two choices. Either I have to say yes or no. So the answer of these two questions is different. In the first question, where do you live? I have so many choices, right? But in the second case, I don't have a choices more than two. Either I have to say yes or no, so that they are closed ended, right? And another type that are alternative questions, they are similar to, they are very much similar to yes no questions, right? And but there is the choice, there is the choice of alternation. Okay, just for example, would you like a cookies or banana for dessert? Here, look at that. Would you like cookies or banana? There is the choice of the two things, cookies or banana. Similar to that, did you think I should go home or stay a little together longer? These questions. So there is the choice. Which one you like? So these are called. These are very much similar to uh, yes no questions, but there is the choice, so they are called alternative interrogatives. Okay, so now we have finished with two types of sentences, assertive sentences and interrogatives, right? Now let's move forward to the third one, that is imperative sentence. Dear students, an imperative sentence uh, gives commands, order, and requests. Mostly, how to identify an imperative sentence structurally is that mostly the subject of imperative sentence is deleted, right? That is hidden. Huh? The subject is you, but that is not written. That is hidden part. Okay, so for your convenience, generally the imperative sentence, by meaning, they are commands, suggestions, requests, orders, and so on. And structurally, uh, there is not a visible subject. Okay, look at these examples. You can read yourself. Some of the examples have been put forward here. So bring me a glass of water. There is no subject. Bring is the verb. The sentence begin with verb 1. Similar to that, don't ever touch my phone. All these sentences you can read yourself. They are clear to you. There is no visible subject. There is no direct subject. Although they have subject you, that is hidden. And by meaning, there are order, suggestions, command, and so on. Okay, let me move forward again. Now we have come to the next type of sentences, the optative sentences. Dear students, optative sentences express the prayer, keen wish, a course, like this. Okay, optative that are wish, we wish. And here are the example of optative sentences. You can see generally the optative sentences they begin with may or wish. Okay, generally the optative sentences begin with may or wish. For example, may you live long. Okay, wish you all the best for your journey. they express our wish, keen wish, right? They express our prayer. May you live long. Hmm? May God bless you. These type of sentences are optative sentences. Okay, here are the examples. You can look and be clear about them. Let me read some of the sentences for you. May the king of the Westeros live long. Long live the king of Westeros. Both express the same idea, but structurally some difference is there. And may you to live long enough to see your grandchildren. These are the wishes. Okay, so optative sentences express our wish. And now finally we have come to the final. So that is exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory, dear children, exclamatory sentence, they express the excitement. Okay. Oh, wow. They express the emotions. The excitement and emotions are expressed by using exclamatory sentence, and we use exclamation mark in the exclamatory sentences. And here are the examples of exclamatory sentences. Yes, I will marry you, and there is the exclamation mark. And oh, that is Jorah's new dress. And wow, I cannot believe I ran to you here. These are the example. Just remember that exclamatory sentences express our sudden emotions. Exclamatory sentences express our feelings, surprise, and excitement. Okay, and to indicate that, we use the exclamatory marks, right? Dear students, now let's sum up what we did. First of all, we read about the introduction of sentence. It is a group of words that has complete meaning. Then after we classified the sentences, we read about the classification of sentences. There are three types of sentences that are simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence, right? On the basis of meaning, there are five types of sentences that are assertive sentence, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, optative sentence, and exclamatory sentences. And we also know some the structural difference. There is structures in this relation. I hope that you are now clear with it. Thank you. We will meet in our next class. Goodbye, everyone.